Hello and welcome to National Focus. I'm your presenter Mervin. Thank you for joining us. In the headlines, government's National Employment Program is being considered a multifaceted approach to unemployment. Why Tukubuli Entrepreneurs Levy elects a new president, and the Inland Revenue Division in the final stage of implementing its tax e-filing system. And we'll bring you excerpts from an address by the International Labour Organization on the occasion of the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Stay with us for details of these and other stories right after the break.
If you can believe this,
come by my house and let me show you some movies.
why can't you believe this? Some mothers don't believe their own children when they say they've been sexually abused, and they don't report it. Remember, if anyone asks to see or touch their private parts, touches them inappropriately, shows them or forces them to touch one's private parts, has sex with them, shows them pornographic material, or deliberately lets them hear or see the act of sex, then it is sexual abuse. Believe your child and report the sexual abuse. For more information about child abuse, contact these agencies. This message brought to you by UNICEF and this station.
Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. The Inland Revenue Division is in the process of implementing an online service where taxpayers will have the option of filing their taxes online. The tax e-filing system will enable electronic interactions for the purposes of registration, filing of declarations and returns, and performing electronic payment of taxes. Assistant Comptroller at the Inland Revenue Division, Ian Michael Anthony, told GIS News that taxpayers are now being registered to use the new system.
Where we're at now is at the stage where we're actually registering taxpayers to use the system. And that means that once a taxpayer is registered, they then gain access to their tax account and are able to make payments online, file returns online. Necessary, well, if anything at all, we've invested a lot of time and money into this project, but also because from the point of view of tax compliance, the taxpayer has one more tool that they can use to comply and make compliance easier for them. And of course, by doing so, the work at Inland Revenue is a bit lessened in terms of the pressures to especially process tax returns.
Anthony explains that the registration process will be an easy one.
The first step would be to log on to the website. It's eservices.gov.dm and register for an e-user account. The experience is very similar to that of creating an email account. So standard information like name, address, phone number. One of the key features is that we're asking for identification. And that is simply because when you register as an e-user, you're going to get access to your tax account. And we need to ensure that the person who applied for registration is the person we're given access to that account. ID can be in the form of social security card, passport, birth certificate, or driver's license. What the taxpayer needs to do is just have it scanned and uploaded into the system.
It tells GIS News that the new system will also allow the registered user to inquire on his or her own registration data and request amendments, tax account, and e-filing or e-declaration documents. The system will also be used to send messages to users.
The system has an inbuilt messaging system within it. So, in fact, from the moment somebody applies for registration, they're going to get a first email asking that their email address be confirmed. Once they have done that and we've approved it, then they will get a second email that will give their user ID. Their password will not be shown, that password is known to them. As they use the system, almost everything that is done, a message is generated. So, for example, a return is submitted, a message will be sent via the system indicating that your return was submitted successfully. When we do the assessment later on, a message will be sent. We will use the system as well to issue reminders, as well as to communicate to one particular taxpayer. So if you want to send John Brown a message, we can send a message to him, or we can send a message to.
Members of the public are being encouraged to use the e-filing system. Taxpayers are being told that there are a number of benefits to using this system.
Now we are encouraging people to use the e-filing system. Eventually, we will perhaps phase out the paper-based. In fact, some persons may still get the paper form because we're just starting the system. However, we're not forcing it on anybody. What we are trying to sell to the taxpayer is that there are a lot of advantages to use that system. For example, somebody may be going away in March, need to file. Under the paper-based system, they would probably have to ask for an extension of time and all of that stuff. But because now we're talking of a web-based system, that person can be out of state and still file their return. Somebody may be in Portsmouth and might think, well, oh, I need to run to town on the 31st of March. No. Once you register onto the system, you can just log on from anywhere you are in the world and use the system. And so what we expect is that people will understand those things and use the system. Later on, payments will also be made online, and that is important. So if somebody has to pay, they did not necessarily have to come down to the office to do the payment. They can file and pay online as long as we have the payment part fully set up. That will happen sometime in the near future.
The expected benefits of the tax e-filing system include integration of the tax preparation, tax filing, and tax payment. There will also be a reduction in administrative costs to the private sector and the general public to file declarations and returns for all tax types, including income tax and VAT. There will also be a reduction in the administrative cost to government to verify online tax submissions and an obvious improvement in the efficiency of the tax collection process. Training has been conducted for staff of the Inland Revenue Division to use the new system. In more news, the multifaceted National Employment Program, which was launched with much fanfare on Monday, is poised to tackle unemployment in diverse sectors of society. Minister for Employment, Trade and Industry, Honorable Dr. John Colin McIntyre, speaking at the launch, detailed the mentorship and community employment aspects of the program. The mentorship component involves job attachments at local establishments where recruits will be guided and trained for the world of work. A year's wages for these recruits will be covered by government. The community employment component involves government support for youths looking to run community-based businesses. Three additional components exist. Honorable Dr. McIntyre outlined the Graduate Internship Program, which targets unemployed university and college graduates.
The government of Dominica is providing internship positions at various levels and departments of the public sector. I am proud to announce that this week, 45 university graduates will begin work within the public sector, statutory bodies and NGOs. Further, a special program within the Kalinago territory will engage 10 graduates on agriculture, business, and community development projects within the territory. The Education Mentorship Program will provide part-time employment for recent college graduates. These graduates will provide after-school classes and tutoring services within their communities. The advantage of extra classes and advanced tutoring will provide extremely beneficial for the students while providing employment opportunities for young people within the community.
The Marketing Assistance Program will seek to directly employ the skills of trained youth to mutually benefit both local establishments and the young recruits.
The Marketing Assistance Program will assist businesses in sourcing markets, increasing market awareness, generating publicity, and increasing sales under the program. The ministry will engage a team of talented graduates to provide technical support and business advice to small business sector. This program will be fully launched in the coming month.
The final component of government's National Employment Program will target adults who have participated in the Adult Education Program.
In this truly creative initiative, individuals who have received training in specific skills areas with the Adult Education Division will be engaged for a period of 1 year in the first instance. I am pleased to announce that 4 garment manufacturers have already committed to place 20 individuals who have completed the Adult Education Division's Advanced Sewing module. We expect to continue expanding the relationship between the Adult Education Program and sustainable employment. Through the Small Business Unit, we'll also assist some of the graduates of the Adult Education Program to start their own businesses. The Marketing Assistance Program will assist businesses in sourcing markets, increasing market awareness, generating publicity, and increasing sales under the program. The ministry will engage a team of talented graduates to provide technical support and business advice to small business sector. This program will be fully launched in the coming month.
This comprehensive and detailed initiative by the Roosevelt-Skerrit government will mean positive things for at least 500 young people. Honorable Dr. McIntyre describes the National Employment Program as phenomenal and a vehicle which will bring benefits for years to come. In related news, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt-Skerrit, aiming to ensure maximization of the full potential of the National Employment Program, saw the need to address both employers and recruits of the national program. In his address at the formal launch of the NEP, the Finance Minister told the young people involved to grasp these opportunities for national and self-development.
It is my hope, therefore, that this opportunity will be grasped and jealously guarded by the beneficiaries. Young people, let me give you a bit of advice. Dominica is a relatively small place and word gets around very fast and easily. Notwithstanding all the training and qualifications you have, if you become known as having a bad attitude or for unpunctuality or any other trait not becoming of a model employee, I warn you this morning that word will get around. If you perform badly in the government service, when you go to Scotiabank or Fort Young or Marpin or Whitchurch for a job, do not be surprised if your interviewer already knows of all the reasons why you should not be hired.
He went further to state that upon attachment with the respective establishments, recruits must then market their best selves and work towards becoming invaluable employees.
My admonition to you today, therefore, is to strive at all times in the weeks and months ahead to be among those considered excellent potential and talent by discerning onlookers. You will discover in the months ahead that it does not matter where you came from, what type of upbringing you had, or sometimes, in many respects, how academically qualified you are. What is crucial in the world of work are aptitude and attitude, a willingness to work hard and the ability to get along with others. But distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is not only the hundreds of recruits to whom we are looking for inspiration, fairness, and honesty. I am also keen this morning to speak to employers and supervisors, both in the public and private sector.
To employers and mentors, Honorable Skerrit advised against underestimating the contributions of recruits.
Fellow employers, these recruits are joining your company, or in the case of the government service, your department, to learn, to impress, and to contribute. They are not coming to run errands or to do odd jobs around the office. Many of them are highly trained and skilled, and they need an opportunity to put their theory into practice. They need to apply what they have grasped from years of study and training to the actual working environment. Several of them have traveled and lived abroad. They have friends across the world and are familiar with modern trends and techniques. They are products of the smart world generation with an infinite knowledge of social media. Employers, you stand to benefit and to learn a lot from them.
More details of the National Employment Program and the Trade and Employment Expo can be found on the NEP's website www.nep.gov.dm. The call was to break barriers and open doors for a society which includes persons with disabilities on December 3rd, International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Issued by Director General of the International Labour Organization, Guy Ryder, the appeal asked societies around the world to include persons with disabilities in the employment landscape. The ILO reports that globally approximately 785 million persons with disabilities are of working age, and while this figure represents a large, diverse pool of talent, too many are denied the dignity of work. The ILO says this comes with an economic cost estimated at between 3 and 7% of gross domestic product. According to the address by the Director General, the situation of women and men with disabilities in the labor market is cause for concern, since they are far less likely than non-disabled people to be employed, and when they are more likely to be in low-paid jobs with poor career prospects. The ILO calls for doors of enterprises and workplaces to be open to persons with disabilities, since more often than not they can perform the same tasks as the non-disabled and therefore must have fair access to skills, entrepreneurship development programs, business development services, and credit. Altogether, such measures will greatly help job seekers with disabilities to compete successfully in their search for decent work and entrepreneurs to develop viable, sustainable businesses. Ryder concluded by acknowledging that everyone has a role to play and everyone stands to gain if the post-2015 development framework includes persons with disabilities. And the Dominican Leo Kazimi has received the 2013 Juanita Altenberg Award for Excellence in Maximizing Access to the region's Global Fund grant. Leo Kazimi is a CARICOM project coordinator of the Regional Global Fund grant, which was established to fight AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria. The award was created by the Caribbean Vulnerable Communities Coalition, or CVCC, a coalition of community leaders and non-government agencies providing services directly to and on behalf of Caribbean populations who are especially vulnerable to HIV infection. These groups include sex workers, drug users, orphans, and other children made vulnerable by HIV, homosexuals, migrants, ex-prisoners, and youth in especially difficult circumstances. Currently, the organization's regional membership is at 90, including Dominica. Former CVC Executive Director Dr. Robert Carr is quoted as describing Juanita Altenberg, the award's namesake, as, quote, a pioneer in the Caribbean region in HIV advocacy, care, treatment, and prevention for communities hard hit by the HIV epidemic and by social stigma and exclusion, end of quote. That ceremony took place in Kingston, Jamaica, at the regional meeting for ministerial officials. And Invest Services Officer at the Invest Dominica Authority, Cheyenne Monell, has been elected as president of the Whitey Kubuli Entrepreneurs Levy. WELL is a local organization supporting budding entrepreneurs by providing them with inspiration and information as they start their businesses. Monell replaces Sam Raphael, who is expected to remain as a member of the board of directors. A news release from the organization on Monday states that Monell, as new president, has called on Dominicans both here and abroad to assist in finding and forming the next generation of collaborative and innovative business leaders. Monell, through his employment at Invest Dominica, has already made a significant contribution to delivering WELL's program in Dominica. WELL's flagship event is an annual retreat held at Jungle Bay, Dominica during Global Entrepreneurship Week in November. Other seminars called Reconnect are held throughout the year. Since the organization's inception, 94 young people with entrepreneurial talent have graduated. This has also resulted in the birth of 27 new business ventures on the island. Jody's Sweet Art, 365 MMP, and Nature's Caress are a few examples of businesses that have grown under WELL's stewardship. WELL is presently on a campaign to raise funds for prosthetic legs for Dion Green, a 2013 graduate who succeeded in all the physical challenges of the program, including a hike up Paybush. Current board members are outgoing President Sam Raphael, Martha Coffey, Judy Joyce, Titi Weasel, Peter Weasel, Dwight Trotman, Dafrica Thomas, and Frederick Barron. And that's the English news. Before we leave, here's one announcement. Irish potato farmers of Girodale and Egliston are informed of a very important meeting at the Girodale Community Center on Wednesday, December 4th at 4 p.m. The purpose of the meeting is to discuss the establishment of Irish potatoes and to introduce farmers to possible sources of funding. Officials of the Division of Agriculture, the NDFD, and the St. Mary's Cooperative Credit Union Limited will also address that meeting. Coming up next, your tip of the day.
Do you have uncovered water storage drums around your home? Do you dispose of old tires, cans, and old containers capable of holding water anywhere in your environment? Are you being bitten by mosquitoes, particularly at dusk and early morning? Do you keep houseplants in water? Do you spend your hard-earned cash to control mosquitoes? Has your community experienced dengue fever outbreaks? If your answer is yes to at least 3 questions above, you are at risk to dengue fever. Join the fight against dengue fever. The responsibility for a dengue-free Dominica lies with you. So, get rid of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Here are a few food safety tips to prevent illness caused by bacterial contamination in food. Washing hands, cooking foods to proper temperatures, and storing food are key to preventing foodborne illness. Rinse fruits and vegetables under running tap water, including those with skins and rinds that are not eaten. Dry with a paper towel. Washing hands is the #1 way to prevent getting sick. Teach your children to always wash their hands. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm. Friend us on our Facebook page and be sure to like our GIS Dominica fan page. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Mervin Matthew. Thank you for watching.